أناجي الحق في ليل بهيم أصدق النجوى وأدعو الله من قلب سليم يطلب التقوى أناجي الحق في ليل بهيم أصدق النجوى وأدعو الله من قلب سليم يطلب التقوى.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban bikum, and welcome to Perspective on ITV. My name is Faizel Patel. As you can see, this is not my usual set. That's because I'm at the ITV studios in Cape Town. In Cape Town, I am attending the 35th Annual Crime Stoppers International Conference, which is taking place at the Cape Town International Conference Center. Remember, you can interact with me by sending me a mail on Faizel at itvnetworks.tv. Drop me a tweet on @Faizi143, or you can even send me a comment on facebook.com/Faizel Patel. Now, the 35th Annual Crime Stoppers International Conference was officially opened by the President of Crime Stoppers International, or CSI, Alexander MacDonald, at the Cape Town International Conference Center, which was on Monday. Now, MacDonald said CSI's mission is to mobilize the world to report crime anonymously because everybody knows that crime has no borders. He also says it's time the world comes together to tackle the challenges collectively faced in combating criminal activities. Now, MacDonald is one of almost 60 delegates who spoke at the three-day event, and the event was also attended by almost 600 people from across the world. We're speaking about countries like the United States, we're speaking about countries like Australia, the Netherlands, and many others as well. Now, among the opening speakers was prominent Palestinian activist and former spokesperson for the Palestinian Liberation Organization, or PLO, Diana Buttu. You know that she is touring the country at the moment. She was featured on many other media organizations as well. Now, Buttu highlighted the crime against Palestinians by Israel, comparing the current situation in the occupied territories to that of apartheid South Africa. We know that just a month ago, we came out through the Gaza war. A ceasefire has been signed, but the struggle of the Palestinian people continues. Buttu described the Crime Stoppers Conference as a natural extension of the type of work done by herself and other human rights lawyers, which was to hold governments accountable for human rights violations. She said that crime is not an issue that affects only local communities and wished all delegates much success with their deliberations. Crime affects everybody. You know, it affects us, it affects our communities. I want to know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you have been directly affected by crime and what you have done to combat crime. Now, on Tuesday, Public Protector Advocate Thuli Madonsela addressed an event on issues of good governance and the fight against corruption. The address was part of her office's constitutional mandate of being accessible to all persons and communities. Madonsela called on South Africans to unite against corruption, and we should. We've seen it. There are many issues that's affecting South Africa at the moment. The different scandals, whether it's in Kandla, whether it's the arms deal, whether it's a Marikana Commission, everything needs to be investigated as well. And this is what she's urging South Africans to do, to unite against corruption. Madonsela told hundreds of delegates it was essential criminals knew their illegal actions would have harsh consequences. And Yusuf Abramji used a brilliant term. He says they want to put a red card on crime. They want to red card criminals. It has to stop. Now, Thuli Madonsela also said while she would not classify South Africa as a corrupt country, the nation faced many problems related to crime. The advocate has called on South Africans to mobilize against corruption, which she called a common enemy. She said if there were no corrupt individuals, there would be no corrupt individuals occupying government or the private sector.
Understand that our beautiful continent is hosting this global gathering of change agents who have dedicated their lives to combating crime for the first time. And congratulations to Crime Line and the South African Police Services, the joint organizers of this event. Beyond policing crime ourselves, as the Public Protector South Africa, our biggest role is the role of policing those that have direct responsibility for combating crime. We are undermined. My long-held view is that corruption is a societal rather than government problem. I'm certain that it's your view too. I'm also certain that we're here because we believe that crime generally is a societal problem. Preparing my address, I came across a speech by the former General Secretary of the United Nations, Mr. Kofi Annan, when he addressed the UN General Assembly during the adoption of the UN Convention Against Corruption in New York 11 years ago. Mr. Annan said the following, open quotes, "Corruption is an insidious plague that has a wide range of corrosive effects on societies. It undermines democracy and the rule of law, leads to violations of human rights, distorts basic services, feeding inequality and injustice, and discouraging foreign investment and aid." I'm certain Mr. Anand's sentiments resonate with each and every one of you as crime combating change agents. It is as insidious and harmful, particularly to the poor, as public sector corruption. Consider the Wall Street shenanigans that caused a global economic collapse. Here at home, we have spent a lot on bread. We have also had to deal with the scandal of price fixing in the construction industry. Who knows that the price escalation in building materials in the construction industry could not be attributed to that price fixing scandal. Then we have the action of those who are colluding in the areas such as credit providers and the auction industry. We all have witnessed one of our modern Robin Hoods, the fearless Wendy Applebaum, as she fearlessly tackled the unscrupulous credit providers and the auction industry. Again, it shows to us that you don't have to be in government, you don't have to be employed as a crime combating person to play a role in combating crime, including corruption. Back to our anti-corruption work as a public protector, we're able to make a difference against corruption because we're part of an integrity system that is built to last.
One of the other speakers that also attended the conference was a very jovial and joyous person. We all know him, Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu. And he always brings the audience alive. He always captivated the audience. And this is exactly what he did when he addressed the conference on Tuesday, just for a few minutes. We know that Archbishop is not feeling very well. Yusuf Abramji, who I spoke to, told me that although he's not feeling well, Archbishop is not feeling well, he did say that he will come address the conference. Now, Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu, like I mentioned, also attended the conference on Tuesday to pray for peace and deliver a short message. And indeed, it was a bit short. Tutu thanked the police officers for putting their lives on the line for South African citizens. In true Tutu fashion, the Archbishop got the auditorium roaring with laughter as he opened his address with a personal joke. He then thanked the South African Police Service members for putting their lives on the line to make South Africa a safer place for all. And indeed, they do that, don't they? They go out in the middle of the night, they attend to crime, they make South Africans happy by curbing and stopping crime in the areas that we live. And they are putting their lives on the line for us. And I think we should be thankful. Now, Tutu says, before South Africa became a democracy, police weren't known as friends of the public, but rather as individuals whom citizens feared. And we've known that. We've seen it from the apartheid eras, where we had the police, we have the special branch, and they unfortunately tortured some of our freedom fighters who lost their lives. And this is what the point that Tutu is highlighting. He also added, he continues to pray for their safety as police play a vital role in society. Now, we must remember that although there's corruption within the police force, and there's corruption corruption within different segments of the police force, but we need to learn to trust police. It's very, very difficult to explain, but a child who is in danger, a child that needs to be reassured, if he is in danger, their first port of call should be the police. And when you root out all these corrupt officers, and if I root out all the corruption that's taken within the police force, we can continue to trust the police. You know, the police must be, like I mentioned, the first port of call, and they play a vital role in curbing crime.
My family and I went to England for the first time in 1962. I was going to study at King's College, London, and it was one of the most wonderful things. We would be walking around in London, and then we'd go up to a London bobby to hear a police officer, a white police officer, address us. Oh, yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. We enjoyed it so times went up to ask for directions, even when we knew where we were going. But in many ways, that does illustrate the crucial role that crime fighters, the wonderful, wonderful work that one expects from them, and how you can set the tone. In South Africa, for a very long time, the police were not our friends. When you were not white, stop you, ask for what they call a pass. If you didn't have it, so frequently, many of our people were arrested. And they look at old pictures of South Africa, you see pictures of black men handcuffed together. And of course it was shown very starkly on June the 16th in Soweto, 1976. And all I'm trying to say is our police in South Africa now are becoming more and more our friends. We hope that in our country we will not see again who would climb into civilians and be people who were the enemies of the people. It is a vocation. It is a calling. You are a very important part of any society. I pray that God will bless you and strengthen you, and that you will continue your marvelous, marvelous vocation to enable societies to prosper. Because without law, we are in a jungle. So thank you.
Meanwhile, head of Crime Line South Africa, Yusuf Ramji, has told local and international delegates whistleblowing should become the moral duty of all citizens worldwide. Now, remember Yusuf Ramji and the local organizing committee, which consists of Marissa Oosthuizen and a whole lot of others as well, they went through painstaking days and time to put this conference together, which was absolutely brilliant. Also to mention that this is the first time ever that the Crime Stoppers International Conference was held in South Africa. And Abramji told me that they want to make this the best, or they made it the best conference ever. We had a lot of delegates, a lot of speakers, too many to mention on this particular program. That's why we only featured some of the few that actually were at the conference. Abramji has also called on people to unite against international terror, adding the world must say no to the killing of innocent civilians, be it by terror groups or government as well. And just to mention some of the other speakers that were in attendance as well, we had Advocate Vas Soni, he's in charge, or the head of the Special Investigating Unit, and then we also had a whole lot of other delegates as well from across the world, from the Netherlands and other countries as well. But the highlight for me for the conference was that issue of tackling cybercrime. We know that smartphones and technology has played a vital role in enhancing the community and enhancing the way we do things in our daily life. But it can also help prevent crime, but it can also be used to commit crime. And one of the things that has been developed, and it was launched at this particular conference on Tuesday, is a new app or a new code or a new program that is used with WeChat. Now, this program was launched by Christoph Albertine. He's the Africa head of WeChat, Africa head developer architect of WeChat. And inshallah, on the screen, you will see a code, a UR code, which you can scan with your phones, and this will add that to your address book as part of the Crime Line app. Now, just to explain to you how it actually works. Basically, it works on any phone that you have, whether it's Android or whether it's an Apple phone, whatever the case may be. But you first have to download the WeChat app. Once that is done, when the code comes on screen, you can use your phone to scan that particular code, and automatically it will add the Crime Line friend onto your phone. And once you do that, you can then report crime anonymously. At the moment, we know that you can report crime via the SMS number, but this is another way of doing it. Not a lot of people have a line to call, or maybe they don't want to call 10111, but this particular one is a brilliant app. We've actually tested it at the conference, and it works remarkable. What you basically do is you type out a message to Crime Line, and then you can tag yourself. You can add a soundbite, or you can add a voice note. You can take a picture of the crime, and then this goes onto the Crime Line website, and obviously they will follow up from there and follow up and see whether the crime has transpired, and obviously send police officers to investigate. So the QR code will be on screen. Scan it with your phone, but obviously you need to remember that you need to download the WeChat app for this to work. And that was launched there as well. Absolutely brilliant app. I think it makes it easy, because a lot of people in South Africa at the moment, basically everybody has smartphones. We've evolved from the old Nokias and all the other old phones. Everybody is basically using a smartphone. If you're tweeting, or if you're sending SMSs, or if you're using things like WhatsApp or BBM on the different versions, whether it's Apple or Android, these are our smartphones. And it starts off, like I said, on our text segment before, as little as 800 for a smartphone, or the new one that's going to actually come in a few weeks' time. We understand maybe another 2-3 weeks, which is the iPhone 6, which I'm looking forward to, inshallah. And but a brilliant app, and like I said, first launched here at Crime Stoppers Conference in Cape Town. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of another edition of Perspective here on ITV. You remember, you can interact with me by sending me a mail on Faizel at itvnetworks.tv. Drop me a tweet on @Faizi143, or you can also comment on facebook.com/Faizel Patel. From myself and Shanaz, I'm not going to say the team because I'm in Cape Town. So myself, Shanaz, and from the ITV studios in Cape Town, fi amanillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أناجي الحق في ليل بهيم أصدق النجوى وأدعو الله من قلب سليم يطلب التقوى أناجي الحق في ليل بهيم أصدق النجوى وأدعو الله من قلب سليم يطلب التقوى صرت في ظرف عصيب فاكشف البلوى فيا ربي أنا عبد لرد الطيب لا يقوى